Welcome to Claim Your Voice with Human Design. Let your heart speak to the world. Hi, I'm Nani from Human Design Tools. I'm a certified human design practitioner, and I'm a mom with a master's in business that has the ability to see straight to the heart of what others are saying, pulling out what matters and reflecting it back. I love business, and I was also meant to be a mom, but it's hard to fit it all together. So having done many things that have dampened my soul and made me physically sick, I know the deep importance of being aligned with what you do. I have gone from allowing shoulds that lead to overwhelm and burnout to a non-traditional portfolio life designed by me and filled with things I love. Human design helped me get there, and so I use it as a tool to help other moms do the same. I just want to quickly share with you what we're going to go over today, and it's all about unlocking your authentic voice. We're just going to briefly talk about what human design is, what the 9 energy centers are, so that you can kind of get a better idea of how they connect to the throat, the power of your throat center, and then the throat center gates that have to do with your voice. So let's start with what human design is even about. Human design is a self-discovery tool that shows you how to best use your energy and then how to exchange it with others. We're all born with this open slate of authenticity, and your chart can show you how you've been conditioned away from the truth of who you are, and it can tell you so much more. It can give you clues to your spiritual essence and how it might play out during your life story. But most importantly, it shows you how amazing it is to just be you. True leadership includes embracing all the parts of yourself, so you can stand in your authentic message and lead people with your magnetic heart. You must first be yourself truly aligned to be able to lead. This is what the quiet messenger, Adria DeCourt, taught me. She has this process that helps you connect with your authentic message. And I also learned from another leader, Karen Curry Parker, that you lead your tribe with your vibe. So it's all about being authentic yourself so that you can have this influential leadership. You can't be compelling and you can't be influential if you're not authentic. So this aligned authenticity, or your why, it comes from your heart and how you authentically share with the world. And that's how you become magnetic. In human design, your G center, or your identity center, regulates your authenticity and calibrates your direction in life. So being empowered in your message will become your leadership vehicle. So now let's talk about the 9 energy centers and what they mean for your message and your voice. So there's a handout that goes along with this, but I'll quickly read the 9 centers so that you kind of know what each one means, or like what energy is going on in that center. So the first one is your head center. It's all about inspiration, curiosity, connection, and connection to source. The next one is your ajna center, about ideas, data processing, and concepts. The next one is your throat center, and we'll be talking a lot about this one today. This is the center for communication, manifestation, and creation, or like the movement of words into the world. And creation is not just, or even your throat center is not just about words. It's like how you communicate with the world. The next one's the identity, or G center, that I just talked about, where you become magnetic and calibrate your authenticity. This is about identity, love, and sense of life direction. The next one's the will center. Sometimes this one is also called the ego center or the heart center. This is where ego, willpower, value, and then like money and resources lives. The next one is the spleen center, about intuition, health, time, survival, fear, and courage. The next one is the solar plexus, sometimes called the emotional solar plexus center. It's all about creativity, emotional energy, and passion. The next one is the sacral center. This one's about work, intimate relationships, raising families, and supporting communities. And the very bottom square there is the root center. And this has to do with adrenaline, stress, and then it's all about timing, this divine timing. We're going to mostly focus on the throat center today, but I just wanted to show you all the centers because we're also going to talk about how it connects. So the voice and manifestation of your message lives here. But I wanted to share with you the other centers because they can affect how you use your throat center. So awareness is how you unlock your authentic voice. So listening to this presentation today, what I'm sharing with you is giving you the awareness. So you are unlocking your voice right now. If you have an open or undefined throat center, it means that it's like not colored in or white, and it's the square there that's closest to the top or the third shape down. It means that you have the natural ability to express things the way that best meets the needs of whoever you're communicating with at that moment. An example is Oprah, who becomes the voice for the room whenever she goes on stage, whatever the stage may be. It could even be, a podcast or something like that. The open throat is designed to remain silent until it's recognized, invited, or asked to be heard. When the throat center receives pressure from societal communication energy, it's not connected to anything, which will result in feeling pressured to talk. When you have open centers, you take in other people's energy or energies and you amplify this energy more extremely. So you may talk like excessively at a party or something like that, or you may not talk at all. So it could be either extreme. So often people with open throats may say that they feel invisible. However, your purpose is here to be wise about communication and action. So remember, you can communicate in any way that someone needs to hear it. You need access to the energy in the throat center by being recognized or asked. And that's it's really simple things. Like if someone asks you a question, that's being recognized. And so if you misuse your throat to get attention or recognition, you can blow out your thyroid, your throat, or your voice. So you probably know some of the people who misuse their throat sometimes, and they're just talking to talk or for the sake of talking, but it can actually affect you and it can affect other people. So the key to success with an open throat is to be more quiet and wait to be seen and heard. So claim this gift of sharing your message the way that others need to hear it. So this is the gift that you have to give to others, is sharing things the way that you don't even have to do anything for this gift to be possible. If you have an open throat center, you have this superpower. Your voice is one of the places where you can just become aware of it and how you operate with it, and then you're just automatically claiming it. If you have a defined throat center, so it's showing here in a grayish color, it just matters that it's colored in. And so on a different chart, it could be any different color. It doesn't matter what the color is. If it's colored in, it's defined. And this means that you're going to speak about different things or maybe from a different angle or voice, depending on what centers you're connected to through a line, which I'll show you soon, upcoming, or what gates are defined in your human design throat center. So all manifesting generators and manifestors have a defined throat because it's part of the design of those two types. Generators and projectors can also have a defined throat center, but because they're not motorized by the motor, other centers, which is a whole nother topic, but just in case you're curious, the motors are the will, the emotional solar plexus, the sacral, and the root center. So you sometimes will act a little bit more like the open throat center if you're a generator or projector, even with a defined throat, where it's really good to have recognition. It will just feel better to have recognition when you're sharing. And don't get too caught up with recognition. It's not like you should never talk. Sometimes it's just saying I have an opinion. Do you want to hear it? Or maybe there's an inherent recognition. Like if you're a coach or a counselor, people are coming to you for your opinion or for what you have to share. And often with your friends and family, you can have an inherent relationship. But sometimes if you start feeling weird about their energy as you're sharing it, even with your family or friends, you might be kind of pushing with a little bit without being recognized. So you can just tell. You're aware now, so you're going to be able to tell how that feels. But really, the point here is when you have a defined throat center, it's considered to be defined because it's connected to something else. So it has these connections to the other 9 energy centers in the chart, and it's going to affect how your voice comes out. So in this center, you claim the gift of sharing your message your way. And this is basically the rest of the presentation is about the different energies from the throat center. So when you have a defined channel that's going to connect your gates and you have a defined throat center, that's going to be the next section. And then when I talk about the gates, you can actually have an undefined throat center and still have gates illuminated just part way. They just don't fully connect to another channel. So the first one I want to talk about, this is talking about your throat center connecting to another center. And I showed you the centers before, but I'm going to go over them again and how it connects to your voice. So the defined ajna center is that upside down triangle, and it indicates that you tend to speak your mind when you're asked. So this is not a motor center, so it's still important to wait to be invited to communicate most effectively. If you think about that, if you speak your mind to just anyone or whenever without knowing that the person actually wants to hear it, and this, I mean, you can even think about this in a business sense. People are following you because they want to hear it. So don't be shy to talk to people that you are in a relationship with. But if you're like imposing your views on people in a way that it doesn't have that relationship, it's just going to feel different or it might just fall flat. When your spleen center, that's that triangle there that's showing on the screen, is connected to your throat center, it indicates that you tend to speak about what's healthy for you and what you sense and feel on a physical, visceral, or intuitive level. Remember, it's about intuition and health. And in this case, it's not a motor center, so you're best heard when you're invited or recognized to share. When you have your identity or G center, sometimes it's even called the self center, connected to your throat center, it indicates that you'll speak from the depths of who you are because you're speaking like directly from your heart. And this one can cause you to be vulnerable to criticism. But this is not a motor center. So again, when you wait to be like recognized or you're talking and connecting with someone with the right energy, you won't feel as vulnerable because you're using your energy correctly. But you speak from the depth of who you are. If you have your will center connected to your throat center, you'll speak about yourself. So you may start sentences with I and have the potential to display your ego in a negative way, but it doesn't have to be seen negatively if you're in a place to surrender who you are and serve something bigger than your individuality. For example, you can provide resources for other people. Sometimes people may shut you down by saying, stop talking about yourself, but this is actually how you were designed to share, and you have a huge potential to serve the world. You can initiate your sharing in this instance if you have this connection because it is a motor center, so you don't need to be invited. Now, the emotional solar plexus center, if that's connected to your throat center, you're going to be able to speak about your feelings or talk about how you feel, and you can freely talk about emotions. You can initiate your sharing because this is a motor center. And when people are around you, they will also feel like they can talk about their feelings. If you have your sacral center connected to your throat center, then you can talk about work and relationships, or that's what you tend to talk about with people. There's only one type that can have this connection, and it's the manifesting generator. This is channel 2034. But if you have it, you'll probably speak a lot about relationships and work. And if you have a defined root center connected to your throat center, it happens that it goes through your spleen center. So you'd have to have the throat connected to the spleen connected to the root center. So if you just connected to the spleen, like the last one, it's not considered a motor, but because this one is all the way down to the root center, it is a motor center, so you don't need to be recognized to be heard. And you speak about what drives you because this is where, adrenaline and stress and like this initiating driving force comes from. So now let's get even more specific and then talk about the voices within the throat center. Regardless of whether you have an open or undefined or a defined throat center, if you have individual gates defined, so they're like colored in, this is just an example here of how they could be colored in. It can be red, it can be black, it can be a full line, it can be a partial line. Don't get caught up that this is what your chart should look like. It's just kind of a way of showing like how they could be um, lit up in your chart. So then you're going to have a more specific way of sharing things. So you can see that it can be in a halfway line or a full line, which is called a channel. And that's kind of like what we were talking about in the last exercise, where your channel is connected to a gate. And even if even if that gate is connected via a channel, it's still going to ignite that gate. So just look at your chart and see if any of these numbers are highlighted on your throat center, and then tune into what I'm going to talk about next, because I'm going to talk about each one of these. So your communication style can come from your actual voice, and it may also be shared by the words that you choose or the art that you create, your brand, or anything that you put out into the world. The human design gates have specific meanings of the way that you share your voice or share your message using your voice. Learning about my voices was a turning point for me personally. I knew deep down inside that I wanted to share with the world in a big way, but I didn't know how. But really, I did. I just needed confirmation. So when I learned about the voices in my chart, they resonated with me to the core, and it launched me on a quest to learn what I needed to learn. I will share with you my examples when I talk about the gates so that you can see some real life application. First, we're going to talk about gate 8. So if you have that little circle there, it's kind of like highlighted. Gate 8 is a confident voice that makes a difference by just being yourself. Gate 8 has this voice that says, I make a difference. The Gate 8 voice is very expressive about making this creative contribution to the world. You want to use your voice to get things done, make a difference, or create a change in the world. So you'll give creative direction when you're asked for what you have to share. So you're going to use this voice to give direction to others in a creative way. And all you have to do in the meantime is be yourself and walk the talk. When the energy in the Gate 8 voice is used correctly, it's inspiring and creates change by leading by example. Now we're going to talk about Gate 12. So if you have this gate over here defined or lit up in your chart, you have a voice that channels the divine and connects everyone to it. Gate 12 has a voice that can be an articulate wordsmith because it plugs into the superconsciousness. You have the capacity to channel simply by being plugged into a higher awareness that comes naturally for you. The Gate 12 voice has a moodiness to it, and it connects to emotions. You may be in the mood and be very bold, or not in the mood and be very shy. But it's all a timing thing. It's not actually like being too shy for something. It's like just not the right timing. But when the mood is right and the right people are listening, the Gate 12 voice is very creative and expressive. I have the Gate 12, so I'm going to give you an example. My Gate 12 is actually the hardest energy for me to master. So for me, it's pretty much about being in the mood or not. But I always thought I was just like a bad writer or a bad communicator. But it just wasn't the right timing for me. And I can see that now. Now I try to flow with this emotional, creative mood for myself when I want to create something. I sometimes also have to borrow others' energy to get in the mood. And something that you can do is go to a coffee shop. That's what I do when I can, because there's energy from others to complete that channel. I only have a hanging gate, so that's where I have like a half line, not a full line. So I can get the other part of the gate connection from other people, and then my writing will flow more easily. Now, like being like out of the coffee shops more and more and home, I have to find other ways to get that connection, but you can even get connections from other people by being online. So gate 16, if you have that gate there highlighted, um, You have an amazing voice of enthusiasm. Gate 16 is this voice that shares in an enthusiastic way. And I say you exude energetic interest. So you share information with this intense and eager enjoyment. I love people that have this. I don't have gate 16, but I love being around people who have this, because the gift that you give to others if you have gate 16 is that you are enthusiastic, and most people love to be around this kind of voice. So you can lift others up with it, of course. Gate 20 is this. So if you have this gate 20 highlighted, it's an influential unifying voice. So gate 20 is about unifying other people and gathering them around an idea. And this idea is you're unifying them to the possibilities of the future. But it's an energy that's actually supposed to be used in the present. So it's in the now, but you in the now unify people around ideas that are going to help the future. And you have this capacity to know what skills, talents, and gifts of the people around you, and your voice has this power to organize these people and unify the energies together. So gate 20 can be a magical voice if you're wait to be asked or recognized. So in contrast, when certain energies or people have this voice and are not recognized, then you can bring out a sharp tongue. So this voice has very powerful potential when it's used correctly. So you have the potential to either tear people down or powerfully lift them up and use your voice to unify people around ideas. So which one do you choose? Now, gate 23, that's that one there, is a present real-world voice of innovation. Gate 23 has a voice intended to talk about innovative thoughts and ideas. So this is moving us towards the future. You can tease out the critical and relevant pieces from something that is new or innovative and know it's important. So without this interpretation of your gate 23, the idea might just come out as weird. So you know what's going to work. If you wait for the right timing, gate 23 can be a very influential voice and help the world move to the future. So gate 31, that's that gate there, is a powerful voice of democratic leadership. Gate 31 has a voice that expresses natural leadership. The gate 31 voice is chosen by others to share. It's like elected by the collective versus like a king or queen that just is automatically there. And it's a voice that needs to be recognized by all the people around it so that it can be effective and offer service to others. So you're this figurehead, so all the voices around you can be heard. When the gate 31 voice is chosen to share, it can be mind-blowing by demonstrating the highest potential for human unity in a common direction. It serves and it delegates and allows everyone to be heard. To be of highest service, let the group that you're leading tell you how they want to be led. Your voice represents the people that you are leading while you are simply the figurehead. So gate 33, that's this gate right here, is a voice that tells stories of the past. Gate 33 has a voice that tells us what happened before or what happened in the past. You could be a story keeper, a rememberer, or something like a ritual keeper. Sometimes people who are historians have this gate, and you can also be a secret keeper. The gate 33 is an energy of an observer and holds on to the story until it's asked to share. And so you like hold on to this story until the timing's right, or otherwise you're going to feel like you're just blabbing secrets, because you have this voice that can transmit stories of the past, and they're rooted in experience. And you may say something like, I remember. So your voice maintains the memories from the past and shares them with the world when the timing is right. Gate 35 right here is a transformative voice of experience. Gate 35 has a voice that allows you to meaningfully share what you've done or what you have experienced in life. So you share your experiences. You may enjoy experiencing different adventures in life and collecting experiences just so you can share about them. Gate 35 covers an expression via an experiential way. It's not about being masterful of something, it's about having experiences and then sharing them. So your path could be through adventure, travel, or just everyday experiences. I have a Gate 35, and learning about my Gate 35 made me realize that everything that happens in my life is an experience, whether it's good or whether it's bad. And that both things are amazing to share, especially because my learnings from the more challenging experiences often give me the ability to teach others what I learned from them. Gate 45 here is this voice of natural leadership. The Gate 45 has a voice that says, I lead others into using their resources better. Gate 45 is a voice that might feel like a CEO or a king or queen, and it has this amazing ability to teach and transmit information. The Gate 45 voice has a beautiful energy for being up in front of the room. However, it is not the democratic leadership we just talked about with 31. Your voice might tell others this is how it's going to be, but you tell it in a digestible way. The Gate 45 voice needs to come from a place of service to the higher good, or it's going to feel like this diva energy, or a voice that wants to control others in a dysfunctional way. Gate 56 here. This is a fascinating voice of storytelling. Gate 56 teaches through stories. You likely share through metaphors and stories, and you may be a creative initiator of experience when your story becomes a story for everyone. Lessons are shared from generation to generation through stories, and metaphors help us understand and then integrate the lessons of the stories. Everyone else gets to be the person in the stories through the story that you tell, and then everyone's individual experience can become our own, and it's why we love stories so much. So I have the Gate 56, so I'll give you my example, and it's about storytelling and using metaphors. And I can literally see concepts in my head when I'm learning about something, and it's like a metaphor starts to show up. So I use this method to share complex topics with others. It's how Human Design Tools was even born. I took some of these complex topics that were only shared via words, and often the Human Design text is lots of words, very thick books. And then I turn them into visual concepts full of metaphors and stories so that the person that I'm teaching can quickly and easily feel the information, digest it, and understand it. Now this is Gate 62 here. See that one? It's a grounded voice of practicality. So it's what's likely to succeed in real life. Gate 62 is a voice that shares in a practical way. You share what is likely to succeed or be effective in real circumstances versus just theories or ideas. People need to hear this voice, especially when they have a lot of grand ideas or inspirations coming in and they're confused what to do with them. I chose an old-fashioned camera here as the photo because that's what pictures take of what it's like what is happening in front of you in real life. So I also have the Gate 62 and I love photography personally. So this practical voice is just really connects for me, and I share in a practical real life way. I resonate with woo-woo concepts, but I've never resonated with delivering them to others in a philosophical way like other practitioners out there are doing for human design. I'm not saying it's wrong at all, it's just not my way. I can't help myself but to ask, who cares? How is this person going to actually apply this in their life? I started out on my journey trying to be like others and deliver human design in this esoteric way, but it didn't work for me. So now you'll see I often add a subhead to my material or some sentiment to what I'm sharing that's, in real life. So this is a practical voice. So that's all the gates in the throat center anyway. So now what? What do I do? It's time to claim your voice or voices. So you could have one gate or many gates and have more than one voice. Think about ways that you can deliver your message using your gift of that voice. For me, it was really leaning into my 56 and learn more about storytelling and how to tell a good story. And so pick one for you and start with that and see if there's a way that you can share more authentically and easily using that voice. Here's just a quick recap. Human design is a self-discovery tool that brings awareness. The 9 energy centers give you insight into how you share your voice. The power of communication comes from your throat center, and you can unlock your authentic voice by claiming your throat center gates and connections. By watching this, you're now aware, so you no longer have to hide from the power of your voice and how you deliver your message. You can learn to lean into it and make your message even more powerful by expressing it in an authentic way. Thank you, and let's connect. You can go to humandesignTools.com. It has lots of free resources, and you can join my mailing list and get a free gift. Thank you. Bye.